All right, welcome everybody. This is my podcast for Serial, and I am going to argue that Anon is innocent in this whole case. So, a little introduction. I am a college student at Normandale Community College. I have taken classes on criminal justice and constitutional law throughout the years of my time in Normandale. I possibly spent around 3 to 4 years, I think, and taking all of these courses, and I've actually learned a lot. Like I've been into, a lot of law enforcement and legal systems, and I've actually, believe it or not, been racially profiled before, so I kind of understand when it comes to the process of, going to the courts and going into custody, being detained with, with no, prior convictions or nothing like that. It's just I understand like how the whole process works when it comes to, being in court and being prosecuted. So I know how this whole matter is. So I kind of understand, like, I have credibility about this part. And so there's a lot of things that I kind of have experience with. So just wanted to throw that out there. So there's a lot of people who think that he's guilty of murder. But my question is, where is the proof? How could Adnan be guilty without any physical evidence? So the thing is that when I made this question, I just wanted to be sure, like, when people are, in the process of being convicted of a crime, there's always a step of proof that needs to be addressed when it comes to proving this person did it. And usually when it comes to results of it has to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. If it's not proven beyond reasonable doubt, it's not a verdict of guiltiness. So that's the thing that kind of like had me question a little bit about this whole podcast. And it kind of gets me a little frustrated because a person who spent 20 years of his life in jail or in prison, I mean, without, any physical evidence held against him, it was just outrageous in my opinion. And another thing that was kind of like, outrageous too was the statement of the person that was accessory of the crime, Jay. And he usually lied about what he was doing. He didn't like he lied about the locations. He lied about what was going on. He just wasn't very honest about what he was, telling the police or the, lawyers or the judge. And this guy was under oath, so he was already convicted of perjury. So this was just like I don't understand like how this guy was acquitted or not acquitted, but like, let go, free to go for this part. If he was already making a lot of like lies about stuff, he was already committing a crime. And the prosecution. So another thing is that how the prosecutors handled this whole situation was that when they were interrogating Adnan in this part, that he was underage, he didn't have no, nobody to defend him, and they were asking so many questions about what was going on, like what happened in this day and this stuff, interrogations. And he was not at the age where he can defend himself, so he needed like a guardian or a lawyer presence, but he didn't have one. So everything he told them was self-incrimination. So he was just drawing illegal conclusions on this whole matter, and that's how they draw their own speculations, making their own theory. But it's just not a foundation of what happened. It was just just basically they're just making up the story and to tell convince the juries that this happened. But another thing that I kind of like had also, how do you say, just I didn't really had it was the evidence against the knot. So they didn't have any like DNAs, so it's already been confirmed that none of the DNAs matched with the knots. It's fingerprints or nothing like that. So there was another problem there too. So the thing is that for my ethos, or my pathos, I should say, is that we need to address these type of things when it comes to, convicting somebody of murder. We need to be proven beyond reasonable doubt that we need to be 100% sure that this person did it. We can't just go by a hunch. We need to be sure. We need to have evidence. We need to have testimonies. We need to have witnesses. We need to have surveillance. We need a lot of things in order to have personally have enough things that are good enough to put this person in jail. Otherwise, we're just gonna put anyone we know or anyone we see without any evidence or anything else be put in jail. That's why there's a lot of people in prison because of this, because there's not enough proof of it. Yeah, I know I kind of skipped the other side, but just wanted to go through this one first because it would make more sense. But this is the Linkin Park episode of Serial, and I use this as one of my sources because I think this was a very, significant part of the story because this included of Mr. S, the person who found the body of Haemin Lin. And the thing is that was kind of fishy about this whole episode is that he was exactly at the coordinates of where she was, like it was the most less obvious, like it was not obvious, it was like more or less, like it was the most hardest place to find a person. But he happened to be in that area where she was. Nobody would else would be find her. I mean, obviously, it can be a coincidence, he urinated at a certain point, but that was hard to believe that type of issue. And the thing is that I kind of noticed about Mr. S is that he files his own police reports because there was a history of him in this episode where he called the cops on himself because he was streaking and he left his clothes in a cop's car. And how can why would someone make an own police report on himself? I mean, that was just like something that I kind of was a little fishy about. And he was an alcoholic, so he drank, and there was beer bottles in that area too. So there was just there was a lot of thing that kind of came into question. Another possible suspect was this guy named Ronald Moore. He was a person who had history of domestic violence and everything. And this guy was in prison for some crime that was similar to this one. But the thing is that 12 days 12 days after his release, he was in that same jurisdiction where Hamlin was. So this was just something that I kind of was a little curious about. I did this actually as my curiosity quest, and this was just something that I was kind of sure that he could have been the other person that could have been personal interest. Well, I'm not exactly sure, but they should be another set. Like they should be focusing on these type of people, because these people were there, except for him. I mean, Mr. S was there, but I don't know about this guy, but it could have been a person because he was in that area too. And of course, Jay. I mean, he's the one that's been telling the whole story of what was going on. He was the accessory. He had the phone. He had the car. He had everything. So I don't understand how this person was not in the stand of being interrogated about the murder. So this was just something that I didn't understand why he was not convicted of anything. So this just kind of blows my mind a little bit. So this was something that I found on YouTube that this was just the levels of proof, me explaining how the process works. And this is just this guy explaining how everything is when it comes to convicting somebody of a murder or convicting somebody of any crime in particular. So I'm just going to play this and let you guys listen to it. So the system, I mean, in Baltimore needs to like address these type of issues. They need to inform juries about this whole situation. So in this matter, they weren't very knowledgeable. It was just pretty much, their convincing story that, Anand did it because he was a person of interest. So this was just something that, pretty much that how prosecutors trying to manipulate this whole situation in order to convince, like, the whole juries that, Anand's guilty in this matter. But there was no physical evidence to prove that. So there was just like, just speculations. And from my personal, like, opinion in this matter, this probably could have just been, a probable cause or a reasonable suspicion. But, in those levels of proof, it needs to be proven beyond reasonable doubt in order to convict somebody. Otherwise, all these verdicts are not guilty in this matter. So, episode 6 on Serial was was my other sources of serial podcasts. I can't speak right now. Um, the case against Anad Sayed. So this was the episode I use as my podcast, or not my podcast, but for my Curiosity Quest. And this whole summary of this episode was just, basically the whole witnesses, the whole people who actually see, Anand, do this crime, all the testimonies, Jay's testimony, his friend's testimonies, Jen's testimonies, Christian's testimonies, just, goes on and on. Like how people were trying to prove Anand was guilty in this whole matter. But, there was a lot of, factors that were just not, all of their stories were contradicting. All of their, the way they were just trying to, tell what was going on didn't add up. Everyone had a different side of the story. And this is the whole thing about credibility is that they need to be, sure what they're saying when, when something occurs, when it comes to murdering, like when it comes to a murder, they need to be sure what was going on. But some of them were just not, telling the truth, and it was just basically, just contradiction.